Hey, what's going on? My name is Bru. I'm on the Hollywood Raw podcast talking about everything. My rise on TikTok, my relationship, interviews gone wrong, and the most expensive thing I've ever bought, which may surprise you. Come hang out.
Hey guys, welcome to the Hollywood Raw YouTube page. Make sure you drop a comment, like, subscribe,
do all the fun things.
follow
everything. We're here to entertain you guys.
What are you waiting for? Hurry up, let's go.
Enjoy.
What's up, Dax? What's up, everybody? My name's Adam Glyn. Welcome to the Hollywood Raw podcast. I am based on the East Coast. Dax is on the West Coast. And we got a really cool episode today because we got someone in studio with Dax, not with me, but in studio with Dax. You like this guy. You're a fan of this guy. I mean, I'm new to him, but you see this guy a lot.
Yeah, no, Bru's awesome. So, people know Bru as Bru on the radio from TikTok, and he is just blowing up over the last year. I mean, he's up to like 4 million followers on TikTok, but then like Instagram, also huge numbers. He's dating another huge social media star. I mean, the guy is just rocking it. He was on the radio out here in LA. You could hear him every day out here. So anyway, he's awesome. I run into him all the time here at because from my other show Pod Sauce, and we're in the hallways at Odyssey. And so I was like, dude, we got to get you on Hollywood Raw. I think people would love to know your story, how you got into not only radio, but how you got into just TikTok and social media, how you capitalized on it. Is this making you tons of money? Like, I just feel like there's so many questions for these people that are coming up in the industry, and I see that he is still a long way away from where he is going to be at some point, because the guy is crazy talented.
So it's funny you say it. I know there's a lot of people who are going to listen to this podcast, and there's going to be a lot of people who know who Bru is, but there's also going to be a lot of people who don't know who he is. I will say this. If I had to bet on someone, if I had to put money on someone who's going to be the star of tomorrow, or is actually already a star, it's this guy. He's got a lot going on. Like, this guy, trust me, this guy is the next Ryan Seacrest, and it's exciting to talk to this guy before he actually blows up. Hopefully he talks to us.
Well, because he won't talk to us next time. We'll get him now before he doesn't talk to us down the road.
Cool stuff going on, and we're going to get into that with him. Yeah, I'm excited to talk to him. It's he's probably got some radio voice we'll hear. And I'm excited for him. Before we even talk to him, we do a thing where we read your reviews live on air. It's the best thing to do. If you love this podcast, we ask you to leave a review, 5-star only, say a few kind words. If you do that, it means the world to us. We say it on air. It helps out with the algorithm. I'm not going to lie. That's what it does. Everyone talks about this algorithm. I don't understand how it works. This is what they tell us. They say, if you leave a review, your podcast will go up the charts. So do that. Help us go up the charts. And Dax, you got a review ready?
I got one. All right. This is from Aaron Alexander / MoveMed. The title says, epic, 5 stars, outstanding host, highly recommend to anyone with ears. That is a legit review. Anyone with ears. I mean, that we should just put that on top of our bio for our Instagram or whatever.
Exactly,
This
man.
show is for anyone with ears.
And thank you, Aaron, for that. It's really kind. And honestly, if you don't have ears, support us. We support
All you earless people out there.
Yeah, all you earless people, support us. With that said, Dax, tell us about our guest today.
Our guest today, who is in studio, by the way, this is a big one for us. We don't do a lot of in studio. Everything is so easy to do remote. But in studio today, our guest is a radio host who became a massive internet social media star with 4.1 million fans on TikTok, with over 83 million likes. He's considered the CEO of Radio TikTok, Josh Brubaker. What is up, buddy? Come on over here.
Dude, first off, thank you for coming on. Appreciate you coming on here. A lot of people refer to you as the CEO of Radio TikTok. But my question for you is, how did you get your start in radio?
Mm-hmm. That's self-proclaimed, by the way. Like, I am the only one who no one calls me that day to day. Even my mom, she's like, she doesn't know what I do. But the radio thing, I've been in it for a long time, which is so interesting because it's weird in the industry now where a lot of people think I'm just a TikToker who like came into radio, and I get a lot of weird hate, I feel like, from the traditional radio people. And it's just like, that's just anything, especially this business. It's like any success is kind of like, you get some weird people coming at you. But I started radio. I've been radio for like 6-7 years already. I'm 25, so I started right when I was 18. I went to a school in Michigan called Specs Howard School of Media Arts. It's a 1-year thing. Graduated high school kind of early, so I went right into that because I wanted to do entertainment. I thought I wanted to do like sports broadcasting. I love sports. I just knew I wanted to do something a little different. So I went there for a year and had the mindset of I'd go to like a university after and like continue the communications or whatever. But I was just getting job after job. Once I got out of that school, I started in a tiny town called Bad Axe, Michigan, which there's like more farm animals than people. So like the radio thing was really odd, but I got to do everything. I got to mess up a ton. I was doing like news. I was hosting a polka show. I was doing like classic hits where I didn't know any of the songs. I probably mispronounced every band, just disrespected all these greats, and just worked my way up market by market until the social media thing took over and really put me to the next level and got me to LA where I am now.
So was it social media where you really felt like your career just had a big trajectory? Like just changed?
Absolutely. Like you get millions of followers, it's going to change some stuff. And it was just all radio, which is the best part because I feel like I didn't change. I wasn't doing anything weird where I felt like I had to be someone else and then keep performing. I feel like that drain you out pretty easily. So it ties in nice where it's my job. I do the radio bits and just parlay that over to TikTok, and it did wonders. And, it came to a point where I was just getting job offers wherever and kind of got to pick where I ended up. And I grew up in Detroit, so naturally I'm going for the warm weather. Like LA just sounds so nice. So living the dream.
Dude, listen, you could have just stayed in Detroit and eat mom's spaghetti, but now you're eating sushi. So it's
big M&M fan.
I get it. But let me just say, you have a good voice. Is this something like, was this always your natural voice, or is this something you kind of developed to kind of become this crisp, strong alpha voice?
Yeah, no, it's so funny. People ask it all the time. Dude, it was so bad. Like, you have no idea. When I first started, I have tapes. If they're not burned or deleted or something, like, it's so bad. I went by Josh, like my name. I go by Bru now, but everyone, when I would do these air checks, to try to get other jobs and stuff, I listened to them the other day, and it is painful. It's like, hey, my name is Josh, like the highest pitched thing. And I went through puberty, so I don't know where it came from. It was just the repetition and practicing and like, I don't know, really getting comfortable. I think Howard Stern talked about that, where he's like, once you really get comfortable with your voice, like it just kind of like fills out. And that's really what's happened. I'm so happy it did. And yeah, you're just like trying not to sound like anybody. It's when you really like grow into your voice. And I don't know, thank God it did, because it was not, I don't know why I picked radio. It didn't make sense back when I started.
So with social media and you becoming so huge on social, was there anything strategic that you did? Because you're saying you were being yourself, you're saying, you're just kind of doing your job, but was there anything that you were like, oh, this is really working, I want to push into this so that I can keep growing those numbers? Because I feel like that's one thing that some people don't always realize, and they don't understand what their strength is or what their power is when it comes to social. What did you lean into?
It's so interesting. It all came so fast and furious. Like there was no plan or anything. Like even for the first videos early on, I was just posting to TikTok because it was easy to edit on. And I was like, I'm going to share it on my Instagram story for my friends. I was doing stupid things like that. But once they really took off, and I mean, I think the point where I was like, okay, I got to take it serious and like really start to think about it is when I hit 1 million, and I was like, oh my God, like this is the peak. I've hit 1 million followers. Like I never in my life would have thought that. And then 4 days later, I hit 2 million. I'm like, okay.
You got
like,
1 million followers in 4 days?
Yeah, it was, that was the peak growth, I would say. And I was like, okay.
Was that off of one video, like one particular video that was just doing really well? Or
no, I was doing like 3 videos a week, and they were just, but there was one, it was the WAP video that's still pinned on my page. That thing got like 30 some million views, and they just like, it was in the peak era. I always say like right time, right place. Like obviously I prep and I like work hard and stuff, but it was peak COVID time for TikTok, and followers were so easy to get. It was just, no one cared about follows. And now it's getting tougher with that. It's like YouTube, but there was no strategy really. But lately it's been a lot more. I've noticed people love the lifestyle stuff. So I'm like, I can do 1 million radio things, but it's just like radio. Once you lean into the lifestyle and about me, and people get to know the personality, it's when they really attach to you, and it becomes like, the connection. So
Well, when you start to get if you wanted to, just because some people at home don't really know the monetization of TikTok. If you wanted to, could you rely leave radio and just survive on TikTok income?
Yeah, but not based from like TikTok alone, like the creator fund or whatever. It's all the
Yeah.
brand deals, which is so connected to my radio personality that I wouldn't anyways, you know, and I genuinely love radio, but I mean, I make more on that than radio for sure. So I've
Really?
passed that this year, which is
You make
fantastic, but
you
it's
make
just like gravy,
you
you know?
you make more money on TikTok with the brand deals than you do radio.
Yeah, than my salary. Yep. Which I don't have an agent, which I'm so proud of, by the way. I do all brand deals by myself.
Smart man right
yeah.
there. Keep
I,
that extra percentage to yourself.
Yeah, that 10% makes a big difference, especially with the taxes.
Wow.
It's just, you know, knowing your value. And that's a tough thing that a lot of creators don't have. I've been blessed to like have a really good group around me that are also creators, and you kind of like bounce off each other and find out what's the sweet spot for brand deals and what brands are able to offer. It's such a lucrative thing on TikTok now where every sponsor is looking at it and trying to get onto TikTok. So, you know, it's just being smart about it.
Now, do you partner up with other people that are, I mean, besides your girlfriend?
Yeah.
But do you partner up with other people that are huge on social media to keep kind of like fueling the interest, fueling those followers coming in? Because I feel like that has become such an easy way to grow people's following is, hey, let's do a video together, let's partner up, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I guess. It's a weird dynamic though. I mean, the ones that are really still accruing so many followers it seems like it's the new people, like the dude Axel who's blowing up right now. It's just hard to get to him. Like you can't, I mean, not like that sounds like strategically, but I reached out right away where he was blowing up. I was like, my radio studio is bigger than your apartment. Come swing by if you're in LA. And he did a couple things over the weekend, but it seems like people are really picky about those things because you're trying to figure out your brand. And then it's the controversies, to be honest, like the stuff that blows up on TikTok. It's always the drama things. And that's just like the furthest thing from my brand. I'd say the most helpful thing is that, yeah, my girlfriend, who is also a massive creator, like just kind of coming together. People love the relationships. And that's been the biggest like growth since the initial, like when I blew up on TikTok in 2021.
So you just said creator. Is it offensive to say a social media star? Do you prefer creator?
No, I don't care. I wouldn't consider myself that. It's just like all my like followers or fans, maybe we call them, like they just become your friends. Like they're so supportive, and there's no negative stuff ever really on my my content, which is great because that's just what I kind of push. It's like the positivity, and you know, I'm not doing anything that's controversial or anything. So I don't, whatever the title is. But it is weird. That's the stars of today, though. You're seeing Addison's in movies, and it's just unbelievable.
We talk about that all the time.
I see your content on Instagram, and your photos are like they're nicely done. Like there's editor, like they're the filter, whatever you do, they're nicely done. Do you travel with a photographer, or how does that work for your Instagram? Or do you have do you take a photo, send to someone, they fix up and edit it or filter it up? How does it work for you?
Yeah, I told you I don't have an agent, but I do have a photographer go with me. No, I do it all myself. No, I love photography, so it's just been I mean, you scroll down my Instagram page, you'll see the pics that are like, oh, and that's just practice runs, you know, like you figure out what's your sweet spot. You get a filter that you really like. Adobe Photoshop's your best friend, not Photoshop, Lightroom. Love that. And my girlfriend is the same. She's so good. If there's some pictures I'm like, I don't know what it's missing here, I can send it to her and she'll be like, boom, and it looks fantastic. So
but are you like,
I take pictures for her too, so we're equal.
But are you like set up the tripod and then like go back and do something, or is it mostly like, Anna, take a photo of me, please?
We do go everywhere together, so she could take pics. Like, you know, I just hand her the phone if it's a solo picture, but the ones where we're together, we'll tripod it up. That's just so. Okay. I don't carry a ring light.
Once you guys started dating, though, that I do feel, because that was more of your like personal life that you were presenting to the public, and I feel like that following really helped blow up too, right?
Absolutely.
Because I feel like two massive creators in the industry getting together, I felt like everyone wanted to talk about that.
It was wild. We were on E! News, which is just disgusting. We weren't on it, but they were talking about it. I'm like, what is going on? It's just like TikTok. And we're both such normal people. I feel like we're both from Michigan. We grew up in the same like environment, very family and like farm towns and stuff. So to us, it's just like we met each other at the perfect time, and like we were destined to meet each other. But yeah, like you get so many weird comments where it's like fake, or, you know, we're just doing it for the views and everything, which is so funny. We just laugh reading them and stuff like that. So,
well, in this day and age, it's hard to tell what's fake and what's not. And I'm not saying you. I'm just saying
absolutely.
in general, like you see the Harry Style dating Taylor Swift, and then you find out later, oh no, this is just a publicity stunt. So I think people are almost jaded to like be guarded of what's real and what's not.
Yeah, like we'll do videos where it's just like she's a big fan of setting cameras up, and she does that. She sets it up, and we'll like go do something, and we just forget that we're recording, and you get really good candid moments. Like I genuinely forget there's a camera there, and people get so mad when you post those. They're like, "You're promoting fake relationships. Like it's not real. It can't be this perfect." And I'm like, "All right, I don't know what to tell you." But
do you tell people like, no, we just set up the camera, and
yeah,
that's why it's honestly real?
Yeah, they just think that's weird. I'm like, okay, good luck. You're just like trying to remember your best memories. It's nice to have it on film sometimes.
So how did you actually meet your girlfriend? Like you guys, like how do you guys connect? Obviously you're you're from Detroit, but now you're living in California. But how does it ultimately come down? Do you guys meet, connect, vibe? How does it go down?
Yeah. So besides all the Michigan stuff, we never met out there. She was the first one to comment on a video of mine. It was like, I think I was wearing a Michigan hoodie or something. And she was like, "Oh, fellow Michigander." And I was like, "Oh, she's verified. I'll follow her." That's wild. Like it's when that was still really cool. It still is, but to see like a verified person comment on your video. So I followed her back and realized, we have a lot in common. And then wasn't thinking of moving or anything. But when everything kept blowing up, I was like, I really got to think about what's next. And it was between New York or LA, and came out here. And of course, when you move out, like that was my biggest worry. I was like, I'm never going to find friends. I'm going to get sucked into some weird like Illuminati thing. But
it's called Scientology.
Oh yes. Tom Cruise slid in the DMs. Yeah. But so she was someone I knew that was like wholesome and positive. And I was like, I moved here. I would love to be friends or whatever. And we met at a photo shoot thing. I was helping a buddy out. We did like a photo shoot. We still have the pictures of everything. We like hopped on this Mustang, and that picture is going to be iconic. Like it'll be, I don't know, once like 60 years or whatever from now to have that. So cool. That was the first day we met. Didn't talk for like 4 months or whatever. And then the story of it is I invited her to Lollapalooza because I had an extra ticket. She's the only friend I knew that had the means and the schedule to fly anywhere and do something. She came out, and that's where we hit it off. And we've been together ever since. But the weirdest fact why I believe it's so like meant to be is she bought a place in LA and it was getting renovated. She didn't live in it for a while. I moved out here and didn't know her or meet her yet. I got my place, and then we finally got to know each other. I was like, "When are you moving in? And where do you live?" She sent me the address. It's a block from where I live. And it's like, what are the chances? We're neighbors. So
that's amazing. So between the time that you guys hit it off and then, the 4 months later and you start dating, how long between when you start dating and then you actually go public? Because I feel like the being public thing is a big deal this day and age. So like, what was that time gap?
Instagram official.
Yeah. It wasn't much time. It was we still haven't been together that long. It feels like, I feel like when you meet the right person, obviously it feels like you're just learning more about someone you've known forever. But it wasn't long. It was probably a few months after we officially started dating privately that we because it was those teases that were killing us. Like, every video, you couldn't post anything without people asking, like, what's the reveal? What's going to happen? And all of that was natural, too. It seemed like we were playing it perfectly, but honestly, it was just us, like, keeping it private for our own, sanctity of the relationship, and posting tidbits fun. But every creator tells me, like, wow, you guys must have had a schedule and a perfect strategy. I'm like, we were just having fun. And she posted way more because she's a lifestyle creator. And I'm like, the radio guy, had a lot of projects going. I wasn't posting for a while during all that anyways. And it just became a point where, like, it was more of a job to keep it hidden than it was, and it didn't feel right to, like,
So how do you plan out that first post? Because again,
oh man,
that has to take some time.
That
when
was,
you are
yeah.
two massive creators in the industry, and you go, all right, we're going for it. The internet's either gonna love this or hate it. What goes into that moment?
I can't remember why we felt like we needed to, but there was definitely something we're like, all right, we're gonna be doing this. We have to. I think it's because the public was opening up. Like, things were opening up. We were going to events, and shout out to every single creator who we bumped into at events that did not say anything. Anyone could have posted a picture of us. Like, we went to Halloween events dressed as cowboys. That was for like Spotify or something.
And you guys went to what was the big Odyssey event?
We Can Survive.
We Can Survive.
We took that's when it started leaking.
You guys weren't like official at that point, but she was
no.
there.
Yeah, she was there. Yep. We were just like,
remember.
we were feeling things out, seeing if it was gonna be a thing. And we took pictures with people, and there was maybe one or two that's like slipped through a little later on, but nothing that was like, they're, I found them, I spotted them. So it was like the Spider-Man thing where they like see his face and they're like, we won't tell anyone. It was one of those things. But anyways, planning it was just, it became time. We're like, we're both going to do it. We posted at the same time, just like the announcement of like a short video of the past few months, kind of like filling in the fans on what we've been up to. Cause there was a lot that people don't know about. And it felt so much longer than, what we've been teasing it for. So it just felt right. It just felt like a weird thing to keep hitting.
And what was the instant reaction from people?
Well, her video did way better, which I was I was upset. I did the cutest thing. It was like that I can't remember the sound, but it was some like cheesy sound that was going on, and it was just a bunch of wholesome pictures, and she had this like more upbeat one, and I don't know, hit the algorithm right, and she got like 30 million views or something crazy. Mine was like nothing, but that's not what it's about. We don't do it for that. It was just, an exciting thing to get to do together and decide on our own time, which was the most important part.
That's amazing. I mean, that's crazy. That's awesome. It's good for you. I mean, you guys are now like the Jay-Z and Beyonce of the TikTok world. I feel like you guys got it down right now.
Well, I don't know if timing wise, who knows when it comes out, but we will be working the red carpet at the Oscars together.
What?
Surprise.
You guys got an invite to the Oscars?
And the Grammys, but that's next
week.
I'm not kidding. Life is nuts.
Okay, how did you get an invite to the Oscars?
What are you doing? Who's this for?
Carpet?
Some small brand called Vanity Fair reached out, and we're doing the stuff for them. And
wait, for Vanity Fair?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, dude. Oh no. This is the first inside. Nobody knows this, by the way. So post it tonight. No.
Yeah.
The hardest thing is trying to find. I am not a fashion forward person, but I feel so much pressure to try to find stuff.
Yeah.
Like I bought an abomination of shoes last night just as an option. They're like, they have crocodiles and lions on it. And I'm like,
do you get a stylist at this point? Because if you're there for Vanity Fair, you kind of have to step up your game.
Well, this is where having no agent hurts, because I tried to negotiate a budget for that, and they're like, no, they wouldn't even give Anna stuff. So she's on her own too for it. But luckily she's
can you just hire a stylist?
That's not my vibe. That's not my vibe. I'm very much like on my own. I'd like to, but we were talking about, when you said the Jay-Z thing, I was thinking of reliving the JT and Britney denim outfits,
Denim outfit, the matching denim. I love that outfit.
I dressed up that one year as well. I went as Katy Perry and Riff Raff's version of the Britney.
What a twist. Weird.
Britney and Justin, because they did the rip off and then we ripped them off. It was pretty great.
It feels a little too Halloween-y for that, so we're gonna pass.
You have no agent, you have no manager, right? Or you have a manager?
I have a radio agent.
Okay.
But that's it, and everything digital I do on my own. But it's getting to that point where it's just there's not enough hours in the day to kind of like negotiate all my stuff. So it'll be probably soon that I sign like with a representation or something.
So how does Vanity Fair, how do they get in touch with you?
I got an email in my bio, and they send a little thing saying they're interested. The best thing is about TikTok and Instagram, or no platform really has that they have these people who become your like growth strategists or whatever. And I have a fantastic one. I swear she's the best. And I told her my plans. I think that's probably part of the strategy in my mind, is like, tell them what you want. Like, you're never going to get deals and stuff that you want if you don't express like what you want to do, where you see your career going. And I told her, I'm like, I'm most comfortable in the hosting space. Like, I have experience. I got to do the Spider-Man premiere for the new one back when that came out, and that was a really good look. And I'm kind of at the top of the list from the TikTok creators, because I'm a creator who does good stuff on TikTok, but also I have the skills to host. I can actually like handle the mic and I'm not fazed by the red carpet stuff. So I'm really lucky to be kind of on top of people's minds for these opportunities, and
that's huge.
Yeah, TikTok
man. And is it also for the Grammys, also Vanity Fair? No, we just got invited for now, but you never know. But we get to attend. What a crazy
cool
life
thing
you got going,
Do
man.
you pay for the car service, or do you have to provide your own?
I got to drive an 09 Chevy Impala, and they won't give me a ride. I'm gonna show up to the Oscars with a 09 Impala with 300,000 miles that I shipped from Michigan, because I knew it wouldn't make it if I drove. So I shipped it. It cost more than the car to get here. And I'm driving that to the Oscars. So if you see that, it'll be more of a head turner than a Lambo. If people see that at the Oscars, So
that's one way. That's the dopest way to roll it. Come on, because if you're just one of the other black limos rolling, no one's gonna care.
I tried to leave it in Compton so I could claim the insurance. No one took it with keys in the car.
You would have gone with like, no. Nah.
Yeah. Oh,
So
man.
now that you're doing well, you're obviously you're doing some really cool things. It's an exciting time to be in your shoes. Are agents and managers reaching out to you all the time saying, we want to represent you, we want to have a meeting? How does it work on your side?
Yeah, especially now. It's a hectic time. And I think I'm taking meetings. I do it myself. My radio agent I have, he's really in line with what I kind of want to do and my values and morals and everything. And that's kind of the strongest thing I think with my brand is trying to keep that, Midwest guy. And it's really who I am. I'm not like, I don't know. I don't act nice or anything like that. I'm truly like genuine to the people I work with and all that. And so making sure I maintain that brand and do the the right plan I want to use moving forward for just opportunities and all that. He is so grateful to hop in and help out with those and kind of feed through. He's like my BS detector for a lot of these meetings. But yeah, I think I've built a strong enough base like mentally to be able to tell what's real and what's not, especially going through the first wave of like TikTok stardom where every radio station and everybody was reaching out with opportunities. You kind of just, detect all that stuff, but it's definitely getting hectic now with these huge representation things that have every resource possible. And it's like, we can do this, you can act. I'm like, I don't really want to act or anything, but you never know. So it's just like thinking long term and have an open mind. So
Are we talking to the next Ryan Seacrest here? Is that your goal?
I don't know. That seems like what everyone says. Anyone in radio is like, oh, like Seacrest. I think it's evolved so much more now where I think the opportunities are endless, like having the social following and then have that tied into my radio job. Like, I think it's a valuable thing to be able to, hop in front of a TV screen and get to host a show. Like, I'd love to do like a Food Network show or something stupid like that. Or, I am doing like a music competition thing soon, which is kind of like American Idol. So maybe, I guess, like, I'm just open to so many different things and I'm catching it early. So we'll see where it goes.
So who did you look up to when you were coming up in the industry though? Like when you were just on radio and you're going, I want that type of career. Who was your person?
Man Jack or someone?
It's no names you would know. It's all Detroit personalities. Like, there's a guy who I listened to every morning. I went to Lutheran school growing up, but it was like I grew up in a farm town, so I had to drive 30 minutes with my mom to the school that was in the city, and we'd always listen to morning radio. This guy named Jim Harper. He's a legend in Michigan, and like Mojo in the Morning, who is a Michigander. It's just those guys that locally really instilled maybe the magic of radio. I never knew I wanted to do radio. It wasn't until I got to that school at 18 and they taught you TV and radio, and I just fell in love with the radio side. I was like, wow, it's an actual possibility. Like I can do this. So it's odd. It's odd to not be infatuated with it. I feel like, at a young age, but it's definitely grown since being in it.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking how crazy it is that I think you might have more followers than Ryan Seacrest at this point. That to me is wild. Like if you really think about it, with a lot of these. So again, we go back to Adam and I talk about social stars and just their power in the industry and how a TV show is deemed successful now if it gets, 5 million viewers.
Oh, yeah.
And your videos can get 30 million views.
Yeah.
Like that to me shows so much power and how social media stars aren't the number covered celebrities in the industry. Like it's still about actors and this and that, but I'm like, these are the people with the power.
Mm-hmm.
These are the people that legit have the biggest fan base and the most loyal fan base. How there isn't more stories about you on E, that baffles me.
It's so interesting. You're so right. I think it's about building that credibility, with the other communities. Because I can't tell you how hard it is to convince like radio people to sell certain things. Like I would do TikToks for radio sponsors if we tied it in with the radio breaks, obviously the commercials here on the radio, and then also like a sponsored TikTok, but it's so behind in like, I'll tell them a number as like what I would need to do it. And they're like, oh my, like unthinkable. So it's just a lot of catching up. And I think a lot of these bigger brands are having to take a look at it because you see the results. Like I have all the results to back it up. And like, there's no reason to doubt, what we could do on social media. So like, I mean, you get like an old school brand like Vanity Fair, who's hiring me and my girlfriend to work the red carpet. Like they're coming around.
That's huge.
And we'll see how the reaction is to that. Cause yeah, it's a very old school type of event where I don't think many TikTokers are going to be invited. So we'll see how it goes. But
who are you most excited to see on the red carpet? Because you've interviewed just a shit ton of people throughout your career. So like, who are you actually nervous to interview at the Oscars?
I don't know who we're talking to. We have a production meeting coming up, so I don't know what the access is going to be. Like, they could just stick us in a
Dude, you're
corner.
with Vanity Fair. You're gonna have
You're right.
great
Oh my
access.
God.
What are you talking about?
I'm trying not to get stressed out about it. I'm trying not to think about it. I roll with it.
Well, think about everyone goes to the Oscars. We're
Oh my God.
talking Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, just think of the crowd that will be there. Who would you like love to interview or be super nervous to interview?
It would have to be like, you think about Leo. That's nuts. Like, I don't even think he's real. Like see him in person would just be one of those out of body
I saw
experiences.
him yesterday, Dax.
What is it?
I saw him yesterday. I forgot to tell
Really?
you. Yeah,
Where
I
was
saw him
that?
in New York. I saw him on the street.
Oh wow. He's
He's like the easiest guy to spot because like he wears a hat really low and like he covers himself so much. You're like, what's going on here? Then you realize it's Leo. It's like he's
too much camouflage. That's really funny.
Yeah, it's just like
Over tries to sell it.
He
I'm a
tries
big
to
fan of.
Yeah, it's crazy how much he hides.
I'm a huge fan of Timothy Chalamet. If I get to see him, I'd be like, man, you are the next one. Like, an honor to speak to you. Yeah, big fan of him. But yeah, I'm trying not to think too much about it because that's when I get in my own head. So I'm just gonna let it roll, let the prep do the work. You know how it works. You do your homework, you'll be all right.
Do you get starstruck? I mean, you've met a lot of people before, you know, already in your career, in your young career. And I say that because you're only 25 and you've done a lot. But do you get starstruck when you meet some of these people, and does it make it awkward or uncomfortable, or do you use that energy to make the interview better?
Yeah, I'm just one big ball of anxiety, like all the time. It's just like always on, but there's something about when you get into the interviewing mindset, I think you do enough. There's just like a flip the switch. So once the mics turn on, it just like soothes. It's a really weird thing. But beforehand, yeah, I'm sweating like crazy and so nervous. And then interview happens, I black out, I do it. It turns out good. Then after, I'm like, oh, you can finally sigh of relief. But I don't know. I think the starstruck thing's wearing off. It would have to be like, it's interesting because, you know, the stars of today are becoming like, I think, younger than you, which is really interesting. Like, I feel like once the people I'd be starstruck for is like athletes. Like if I saw, you know, Michael Jordan or something, I'm like, oh my God. But maybe not to kids nowadays. They see like Bryce Hall and they're like, whoa, you know, and I wouldn't feel any kind of way if I saw him. So it's just like, you know, who you look up to and who you kind of idolize.
You've met a lot of radio people. From my experience, and Dax, I don't know about you, I've realized, you know, from radio people I've met, when the microphone's going, they feel, when the radio's on, they feel comfortable. They like talking to people. They're conversational. But when they're off the radio and in person, they're uncomfortable. Like it's awkwardness. Have you noticed that? Like it's just like a social awkwardness with a lot of radio.
I see that with just a lot of people in the entertainment industry in general. Like they feel comfortable in front of the camera. They feel comfortable in their element of acting or hosting or whatever they're doing. And then the camera goes off, and there is a bit of social anxiety that I've seen with a lot of people, even again, creators out there. They're more comfortable with their phone in front of their face, but then the conversation, it gets awkward. You see that a lot too?
100%. Like I not only see it with other creators, like I see it in myself so much. Like the stuff I do on TikTok with like the video air checks while I'm on the radio or whatever. I would never talk like that. I mean, I would, but not like that, you know, like I guess ball of energy and stuff. And yeah, I'm a big believer in like the, what are the two things? Introverted, extrovert, like the job and this stuff is so extroverted that I'm like, I love to do it. And it's so fun in the middle. But once it's over, I'm like, I need to
shut it off.
Yeah. And it's hard when my girlfriend is fully extrovert, by the way. Like she can go for days of just talking nonstop. But there's a point where I'm like, I need to just like go in the dark room and like recharge because it burns you out, at least for like, you know, when you have those introverted tendencies. But definitely it's such a on and off thing for a lot of people.
Who's been your best, I guess, interview to date? Like someone that not only you were excited, but you felt like you just slammed it out of the park with that interview. Because I always find that interesting to just think back to like, that was a dope moment for me in my life.
Oh man. I black out, so I can't really talk on it. I just black out, but I watch back. Oh, okay. So we did one not too long ago, and it was in person, which I really appreciate because even in my career, as I've started to get these big interviews, because you know you have the platform like LA and everything, they've all been Zoom, and that tends to make it easier. Maybe I don't know. I could do them from my living room, and I'm not too stressed about the appearance or all that or the body language. I love doing them in person, and we had Ed Sheeran in the studios.
Oh, dope!
And he was the best. Like I think it helps when he's the nicest guy in the world. He's the most normal rock star. You know, he's like as big as it gets. But It was just a conversation. That's the best thing you want when they just want to have like a conversation, and it went so well. And it was a long form one. It was like over 30, 40 minutes of just getting to talk to him and stuff. And he was an absolute joy to have and talk to. And yeah, it's a guy I look up to too. So it was a very, like, I was nervous going into it, and I'm so glad it went well. Jimmy Fallon was a guy. That's someone I look up to, by the way. He is one where I talked to him, and it was only for 5 minutes, and I had 2 questions, and I stumbled on both questions because I was so stressed about it. I was like, Bru, my name is Hi. I couldn't get it out right. But that was another really cool one to do where I was like starstruck, and it did go really well because he's, such a pro anyways that he makes anyone comfortable.
Adam, I've never asked you, who's your favorite interview that you've ever done? Because you've interviewed the biggest of the biggest people on the planet.
I mean, I feel like now I'm like trying to one up Bru, but
let's do that. Come on.
I mean, Oprah, Jerry Seinfeld was fun because like he challenged me and I was ready for it, and I challenged him back. But I think Oprah would, any interview with Oprah is always good. Especially when she was talking about Meghan Markle and stuff like that. It was like really interesting feedback to get that response.
What does it mean when he challenged you? What is Jerry doing that's pushing you in the interview?
Well, Jerry basically, so this is a good story. So Jerry was at the Brooklyn Diner. Again, you're interviewing them in a studio. They're ready for you. They got their hair and makeup done. When I'm doing my interviews, I'm on the street. So it's not set up. So, and I ambush, and essentially. So Jerry Seinfeld was at the Brooklyn Diner. It was a Thursday morning, I remember. And he came out of the diner and he was unlocking his bike. I go, "Hey, Jerry, how you doing?" And he's like, "Hey, man," and he's not really, he's like brushing me off a little bit. I go, "Hey, Jerry, listen, I try to talk to him about Porsches because I know he's a big Porsche fan." And we started talking, he basically was like, came at me and said, he's like, "What do you think? I do nothing all day?" And then I said, "No, Jerry, because if you do nothing, it's hard to do nothing. Because if you do nothing, then you're actually doing something, then you're not," which is basically one of his bits.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's like, "Oh, okay, now I see what you did." So like, I basically I did his bit to him and I caught him and then basically won him over, and then it was like chimed in and had fun. So it was like he came off in the beginning like an asshole, but I think towards the middle it's like, no, he looked like the asshole essentially because I kind of charmed my way into having a fun interaction with him, if that makes sense.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like you earned that one. Like that's more of a badge of honor because you worked your way into that interview. You didn't get it set up. Like that's amazing.
But like anytime I interview Oprah, it's always like you could ask her good questions and she answers and she's ready for like the tough questions. Like I always try to butter her up. She's like, "All right, no, ask me what you want to ask me." And then I ask her the tough stuff and she has good answers. So that's good. I've interviewed her, unfortunately, a bunch of times. But let me ask you, Bru, have you had an interview that you did that you wish it went better? Like, and who was that with? Like, like you guys, or was it like something you guys did not click? Like just energies didn't match up.
I think no, I don't think so. I think I make sure I'm prepared enough that I can feel the vibe out and take it in a direction where like, okay, they're not going to answer anything that's like, unfortunately, any of the hard hitting questions I want to get into. So let's do the fluff stuff or whatever. But
you've never had a bad.
Oh,
interview?
It sounds terrible. I'm so fresh to it. I'm sure it'll happen. I'm sure I'll have some terrible ones. One which is tough is the language barrier, which you notice like in a world where so many people are becoming stars from different countries, and there's a lot of K-pop bands and stuff like that. There was one where her name's Lisa from Blackpink. She's huge. Like this interview got 10 million views on YouTube, which is, obviously that's a little bit bigger where it's one of those platforms like YouTube. And it was just hard to like communicate, which was like the toughest thing. I'm like trying to process and she doesn't give like the right sayings back. And I'm like, how do I make her look good? Because you don't want to make them look bad or like stupid or anything. And it's just a language barrier. So that was like the most challenging one. I'm trying to think of bad ones, but I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of it. There was one where I got cut really early. Like it's always the record label people. They're like, "You gotta go," and I was in a great question. And they were doing a great thing, and they pulled them out. And I was like, "Thanks." Like, all right, bye. Couldn't. So that was upsetting, but I can't remember who it was.
I go back, Dax. One of my favorite ones was my last interview with Conor McGregor, and it was just because it was right after the incident with Machine Gun Kelly at the red carpet, the VMAs. And rather than make the whole interview about that incident, we briefly touched over it, but talked about like who he wants to fight next, about his recovery, about his family. And when we were done, he was like, "You know what, dude, I really appreciate that. Thank you." And the fact he goes, "Let's take a photo together." But I thought like he like wanted me. He's like, "No, I want to take a photo with you." And he was like, "You're my guy in New York." And that one was
right.
Really
He
cool.
posted it, didn't he?
Yeah. So that one was just cool just to have that photo.
Wow.
So that was Conor McGregor was cool. But let me ask you this, back to you, Bru. Who is your who was the absolute, I know you just mentioned Jimmy Fallon and Ed Sheeran, who are amazing people, but so far in your young career, who was the coolest person that you got to interview?
I think about a wonderful woman like Lizzo, who is just an absolute firecracker. We'll say whatever you want. We bonded on every level in a way where she asked me out on a date. So that was probably the one where it was like, yeah, we started talking about Detroit, and I was like, I'm from Detroit. And she's like, I knew it. I knew there's something about white boys from Detroit hit different is what she said. And, and we've done a couple since, and every time it's always this weird tension where I'm like, I'm in a relationship now. Like, we can't be talking like this.
But how was the date?
Well, listen, that is, I can't guess to tell that. She got interviewed, that caught on the social world, and somebody else interviewed her, and they were like, yeah, I heard you and Bru got something going on. Would you like to send any message out to him if he sees this? And she said, you can tell him my back is fixed now. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I have the clip. So that's like, I start blushing now, but she's wild. She's so fun.
She's great. Who was the strangest person you talked to? Like the one who's like, man, this person is very unique.
Lil Nas X was really interesting. He's very thoughtful, and I think smart. Like, he's super smart with marketing and everything. But low energy compared to what you see on his socials and on stage and everything. And he was just like the most mellow, like low energy guy. And I'm prepping for this interview like, this is going to be wild. Like, we're going to talk about the devil's shoes. We're going to go into all these different things. And he just wanted to talk about, like, he made a children's book. And it was just like, I'm like, wow. Really strange vibe too. It was one of those that I wasn't like had a full backup of questions for someone like that.
He came into the Odyssey Beach Fest backstage, very chill. Same thing, like walked off the red carpet where it was like wild and everyone's screaming, into backstage. He was like, hey guys, hey,
right,
good to see you. Thanks for being here. I was like,
yeah.
Who is this guy? Because
100%.
You just expect that over-the-top personality that you see on camera, and it's not like that. The second the camera started going and the interview started, he brought it back up, but it was weird to see what he is like when the cameras aren't rolling.
Yeah. It's a lot of persona and just what you put out there. Doja Cat was interesting too. We got to do it at We Can Survive, the Odyssey thing, and I didn't know what to expect. Again, I was like, she's one of the biggest stars in the world. She hasn't done many interviews. She does more lives than any artist in the world on like TikTok and Instagram. But to get to interview her, she was very like, I woke up an hour ago. She was late. She's like, I just woke up an hour ago before this performance. Like, I don't even know who's here, who's performing. I was like, this is odd. Like, it really is like a world where like she has all demand right now. She could just, doesn't have to do anything. She just shows up. Incredible.
Yeah. That's funny. Mine would be, it's funny, when The Weeknd first came out, The Weeknd doesn't do interviews. That's like his MO. Like, oh, he doesn't do interviews. I was like, okay, I didn't even know who he was. And his manager was like, hey, do you want to interview The Weeknd? You'll get one question. I'll make him say one thing to you. I'm like, okay. So he came out of the hotel. I was like, hey, man, how you doing? He's like, good. And then he just jumped in the car. Like, I didn't know what to say to him. I had one question.
What was the question? Oh, you did. You didn't even know. You used the question. How you doing? Good.
But he's very, very nice. Like, he's good to the fans. He's like approachable. Like, so I was very surprised, like, how The Weeknd kind of like you don't really hear him talking as much. You just hear him singing, but he's very nice to the fans. Like, he does photos and he's good.
My most awkward interview was with Jared Leto.
Oh, really?
Super awkward interview. It was him and his brother. And this was like a long time ago. It was like right when I was kind of new in the industry. And we had to do an interview in an elevator. I know it sounds super weird, but it was in an elevator because that's kind of like the joke behind it. We were doing interviews in there. And I asked him about Lindsay Lohan because they were supposedly like dating at the time. Oh, it did not go well. He literally like dropped the microphone, looked at me, and he like gave an eye to his brother like they were going to beat the shit out of me in the elevator. And then they started laughing.
Oh, okay, good.
But I shit my pants during those 5 seconds of like,
so they were doing
oh my God, they're gonna fucking kill me right now
because of Lindsay Lohan.
Because of Lindsay Lohan and asking about Lindsay Lohan. But no, they joked and afterwards. But damn, and that's I thought funny. I was like, I'm gonna get fired day one asking about Lindsay Lohan here.
Hey, you got to throw it out there. Kanye would be a good one right now. That's one I would want to interview. Have you done a thing with Kanye before?
I've done some stuff with Kanye. I mean, it depends what kind of mood he's in. Again, every year it's a different. Every time you see him, he comes to New York.
Well,
It's
it
a different
depends on
guy.
what he's promoting. That's the difference.
Exactly.
If
So I've
he's
had him when
promoting
he's super
something, he'll talk.
Man.
Yeah, I've had him when he's super cool. Then I've had times where he's just like, he doesn't. He like you'll be standing there and like he acts like you just don't exist, and it's like weird. So
Wow.
but sometimes like he'll talk to you. Like I've had like really good conversations with him. It's just I've been doing this long enough now. Like on the again, you're in a studio. It's a nice environment. I'm on the streets where it's like it's crazy to see like people like The Weeknd and Kanye, because I remember seeing Kanye at parties and they would be like, oh, there's Kanye West, and he was just like that guy in the corner. To now he's an enigma. He's like a super. He's not real. It's there's just some energy around
I don't
him.
want to
It's
talk
just,
about Kanye. I'm so Kanye
I just finished-
out in this world.
I'm sorry. I just watched Genius, and that was on Netflix. You didn't catch that?
No, I
It was
literally-
fantastic, but
No, I mean, he's a genius is what he is, but
Genius.
I can't handle him too much anymore because
We
it's
can
just
move on.
oversaturation of Kanye.
Hey,
Tell
Bob,
me.
Let's move on to Pete Davidson. No, I'm just kidding.
we love Pete actually.
Yeah.
No, tell me, have you met the D'Amelios?
Yeah. Oh,
Are
yeah.
they-
Of
what are
course.
they
I forgot
like?
about that. They're fantastic. They are. It's so odd because we've kind of like you experience that social media stardom. They're on a different kind of level. They're
Mhm.
like unbelievable. Most normal people. Like I wish them nothing but the best because they're. I've been to Dixie's house. Like she is an angel, and we've developed a relationship early on where. We were just mutual fans of each other's stuff, and that's the most fun part. I feel like becoming the radio guy on TikTok. I guess they kind of turned to me and like those interviews, I kind of get a lot of first stuff, which is so fun. And now she's, trying to get into the music business and be successful with it and all that. So yeah, they're just the nicest people. Even her parents, I met the parents, they're so smart and just
yeah.
doing all the good things for their kids, which you got to appreciate.
Is it? Can I ask you something weird? Because and I say it's because you're in radio, so I feel like you're a fair person to say, I love music, but in some ways, when I listen to songs now, I'm like, man, that's a TikTok song. It's not even a real song to me. So did TikTok ruin music, or did music enhance TikTok? Like, what are your thoughts on about like Doja Cat? Like, I feel like her songs are like TikTok songs. Like, they're not real songs to me anymore.
She talked about that somewhere. She was like, I write these songs for the hooks and then I figure out the rest later because she knows they're going to be probably viral moments, which is such an interesting way to think about music. I ask this question all the time to artists. I'm like, does that play in your mind where a song like even Frank Ocean's Lost, where it's blowing up now, it's like, oh my God, a song can get big off of just this app and it can make people's careers like it's done for a ton of young artists already, but it doesn't play in the process. At least that's what they tell me. They're like, no, you're making the art for what it is and what you want to make, and then you let TikTok do the rest if it's like a promotion tool. Really, they always use it as like a tool, and I think that's the way to be. I mean, I don't know if it's ruined music. I think it's just a new age. If anyone's writing songs like Charlie Puth, how he's building his songs on TikTok. It's just he's making his songs and then making the videos. He's not doing that for the video. So yeah, I just think there's more exposure to it, and it makes you hate songs faster.
Because you hear them nonstop.
Like,
Yeah.
You're at a Dua Lipa concert. Everyone's just doing the TikTok dance. It's just like,
no. Well,
Well, what's funny, Adam, is I don't think that TikTok necessarily ruins a song or it doesn't feel like a real song, because a lot of these people are putting out their song on TikTok to get it to a place where then it goes to radio. I think it's easier when the song blows up on TikTok to get it onto radio these days, because then they know, oh, there's an audience. There's people craving the entire song. I think it's just a different world we live in where now TikTok can make or break a song or reinvent a song. I mean, Fleetwood Mac, the amount of songs that have now come back onto the charts thanks to TikTok. It's wild.
Yeah. Dreams played on Top 40 for like a week, and I was like, what is going on? As an old soul, I love to see it, but like it's unbelievable. And it's just another way to get it out there. But yeah, it's always the part to it. It's never the full song that goes viral. It's always like there's a weird lyric that someone twists into a trend, like with the lyrics. Or just an interesting sound.
Can we skip to the good part?
Okay. Yeah, okay. I was trying to swipe away from that. Yeah. So it's interesting.
you mentioned Alex Weber before. Obviously he's a TikTok star. He's blowing up. I don't understand why he blew up or how he blew up. You're very familiar with this world. Why do you think he blew up, and how did he actually blow up?
Yeah, Axel, the guy out in
Axel Weber.
Yeah, interesting name, but he's I don't know, like you could throw stuff around where it's like the algorithm is pretty messed up, if you know what I mean, like where sometimes attractive people can just blow up on it or something like that. And who knows? I mean, if that's true or something, I mean, I hope this says something about me. No, but Axel is like, he's one of those guys where, at least from what I interpret it, like there's some energy about him where he's just there's like golden retriever energy. You know, you hear that. People love that stuff. And it's always the people that really build up those huge audiences. It's something so different. And it started with those tiny apartment tours. And it's something that you don't really see. And now he's catching flack for it because it's like, you know, he's getting accused of glorifying poverty or anything. And he came from like a wealthy family. But that's just like people. It's so sad that he first started, he had no followers. And, you know, his first video got millions, and he's the biggest person you root for. And now he gets flown out to LA and he's meeting with Lionsgate and all these cool opportunities are happening. And people are like trying to tear him down. So I was talking to some like professor who teaches these things about it. And he says, like, when does it switch from you root for him to where you're not rooting for him anymore? And it becomes a jealousy thing. Like when they've passed the success that you think you can reach is when you start to hate on him. And he's done that so quick that people, you know, kind of turn on him. But he'll be fine. Like he's already, you know, to the moon with all this stuff. He'll be in movies soon, I'm sure, which is unbelievable.
So, you know, now that you've had so much success, what was that thing that was your first big purchase? Like you spend some good cash on. I mean, you've got your car with 300,000 miles on it, but what was that thing that you're like, this is amazing. I'm actually buying this right now.
I don't spend money. I do not. And it's been a year. It's only been a year, by the way. So like, I don't know what to do. This is the first.
There's not a vacation.
Yeah, that's exactly how I was going to go. So, I had the incredible opportunity, to surprise my sister. She is a senior in college. She's about to wrap up and then dive into the workforce and work for the rest of her life. So I was like, I'm going to treat her. And, she flew out to LA to visit for spring break. And when she showed up with her bags, I was like, all right, don't unpack. We're going to hop on another plane and go to Hawaii. So I got to do that.
Nice.
And it was my first time too. Anna came with me. My sister's boyfriend came. So I got to do this whole trip, like kind of, you know, on me, which was so exciting to do because never in my life would I thought that'd be a possibility. And we got to experience that together because neither of us have been. So that's the only big thing where that was like, you know, whoa, like I looked at the receipts. I'm like, all right, time to get back to work. It's a little expensive, but no car. I rent, which is, you know, that could be the big purchase. You know how it is out here. But yeah, nothing crazy. The shoes for the Oscars that I bought, those are pretty expensive. The crocodile ones I mentioned with the tigers on it. I regret that.
Where are they from, by the way?
I don't even know. Some store I'm not supposed to be in.
Well, bro, I appreciate coming on. It's always nice talking to people that are more successful than me.
Oh man.
It's Dax and I like to Dax and I's new podcast is going to be called Talking to People That Are Younger but Doing Better Than Us.
Wow. Well, you know what? There's something about a humble title that sucks you in, you know? And if I ever get confronted on the street from you, that's how I'll know I made it. So
I'll be up there. Trust me. Let me know your flight. Everyone else does. Come on, help me out.
I'm ready.
Honestly, man, it's honest. It's really cool to talk to you. You're doing some really cool things, and you're working hard. I mean, you're not just. It sucks that, and I say this. It's not you. Like I don't see you. It's some people see you as a social media star. But like, no, you're a host that has become famous on TikTok. So I commend you on that. I think it's very cool, and it's very inspiring. So I appreciate you coming on and telling your story.
No, I appreciate it so much. And I love the kind words. It's nice to, you know, lift each other up. We all could use it. So thank you so much for having me. This is fun. This is one of the first podcasts I've ever done. So like, kudos to you guys.
Look at us
I don't do
go.
many. You gotta keep it, you know.
We're getting you on your rise so that when you are, you know, on top of the world, we can be like, we got Bru when he was, you know, at the bottom, which is bottom, by the way, which has 4 million followers.
Exactly. Yeah. No,
not our bottom, but your bottom.
Oh, right. Oh, yes. Okay. I was like, wow, you guys are killing it. What are you talking about? No, it's amazing.
No, thank you so much, honestly, for stopping by.
Yeah. And Bru, one last thing. Can you just do a TikTok with Dax for our Hollywood Raw account just to see how big it gets?
Yeah, I'll send my rates to him. We'll let you know.
It's always fun when you get to do an episode. Like I know you guys are in studio together, but hey man, he's the next Ryan Seacrest.
Dude, he's killing it. He is crushing it so hard. Like he's being humble, but the guy is really doing well. I know for a fact people are reaching out to him left and right to, you know, work with him. And he's got this incredible following on social media, and people are just in love with his personality and in love with him and Anna's relationship. I mean, the guy is just killing it right now.
He's in a good position. I mean, just to have like the agents and managers calling you nonstop, but you wonder how much of it, from being on that side, not like I've gotten those calls, but like he's now probably taking a bunch of meetings like, all right, who's the real deal? Who's bullshit? Who's actually going to work for me and who's not? So he's in a good position, and to do his own deals, he's saving a lot of money.
Amazing. Let's just realize how pathetic we are.
Yeah.
We're not getting the invites to the Oscars ourselves.
They're reaching out. Wow, how cool is that? But listen, shout out to Bru. Follow him, Josh. Follow him on Bru on the Radio on Bru on the Radio if you're not following him to see his content that is going viral. If you guys like entertainment news, if you like those celebrity videos that you can't find anywhere else on the internet, follow the Hollywood Raw podcast on TikTok and our YouTube. Subscribe to the page, like it, follow some stuff. We got videos that you can't find anywhere else. If you want to see the old school celebrity videos that you see back in the day, well, we have it here, and it's really cool stuff. Follow us on all social media platforms. Leave a review is the best thing to do to support us. Follow me at Adam Glyn, Glyn. Follow Dax Holt at DaxHolt. We'll see you guys next time. What's up, guys? If you like that video, there's plenty more where that came from.
Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell so we can just feed you all the goodness daily.
Hurry up. Come on, let's go.